Hello everyone, welcome to your 20-minute flow. Today we're going to be really working on spinal articulation all the way from our root chakra up to our crown chakra. So there are these things in our bodies called nadis, and nadis act as energy channels for our prana energy to flow. The Sushumna nadi is the one that again goes up and down our spinal cord from our roots to our crown. And then, of course, there's the Ida and the Pingala, our masculine and feminine, that are zigzagging up our body as well. But that Sushumna nadi goes straight up and down. And a lot of times it's described as this snake that's coiled up at our root and will eventually unslither and rise. So we're going to do a little bit of snake visionary as we work with our spine. On that note, find a comfortable seat, no props needed. Hands down to your thighs, whether you're in Virasana kneeling or Sukhasana cross-legged. Start to close down your eyes. Allowing yourself to step into the role of the silent observer. Working to find equal length inhales and equal length exhales. See how long you can extend out your inhales and your exhales. Welcoming yourself to the here and now, letting everything else kind of fade away. You can keep your eyes shut as we make our way down onto our backs. Feet are planted about hip width distance apart. Hands are down by your sides. Heels are nice and close towards your glutes. The key to a healthy spine is a healthy pelvis. So we'll work with some pelvic tilts here. On your next inhale, find an anterior tilt, slightly lifting your pelvis up. So as if ants could crawl underneath your lower back. That's kind of how I remember it, anterior. Then exhale for your posterior tilt, gluing your lower back, the waistband of your leggings or shorts down to your mat. A couple more times, we inhale to find this slight arch of our low back, anterior tilt. Exhale to press your lower back down, posterior tilt. You're not actually moving your hips, you're just slightly tilting. And now start to find a sweet spot in between the posterior and the anterior. That's your neutral pelvic floor. Taking some bridging to breath. Inhale to peel your hips up, starting from your hip points. And then lift up vertebrae by vertebrae, imagining that there's duct tape on your spine that you were peeling off of the mat. Exhale to roll back down in the opposite direction, starting around your shoulder girdle, replanting yourself down, one vertebrae at a time. Continue to take this breath to movement, inhaling to lift up, exhaling to lower down. You can always add in your arms if you'd like to inhale, arms up overhead as you peel your spine up off your mat. Exhale, arms come back down to your mat as you replant your spine down. One more time with a roll up and down, and we'll meet back laying on our backs, neutral pelvis. Once you're there, draw your knees into your chest. Start to rock and roll up the length of your mat. Hands come to the backs of your thighs, massaging out your spine. Eventually cross your shins, roll over your legs, find your tabletop. Hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Gently press the mat away, almost as if your shoulders were sucking up a liquid out of a straw. We'll slow motion take one round of cat-cow with a little more spinal articulation. So inhale to draw your chin away from your chest. Slowly then drop your belly button down to your mat. Let your tailbone point up towards the ceiling, cow pose. We're gonna just as slowly come into cat. Keep your upper body as is. And this time, your hips are gonna draw forward. Your navel pulls up. And then your shoulders start to arch back. And then your chin draws in towards your chest. Hold your cat pose. Tuck your toes. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Not here too long. We'll inhale, gaze forward. Exhale to ripple forward like a wave coming to your high plank. Exhale, bend your knees, shift your hips back towards your heels like a floating child's pose. Then start to straighten your legs, pike your hips up, downward dog. 2 more times, inhale, come forward, high plank. Start to bend your knees, shift your hips back towards your heels. Re-straighten your legs, downward facing dog. 1 more time, inhale, come forward, high plank. Exhale, bend your knees, shift your hips back towards your heels. Re-straighten your legs, downward dog. This time we'll inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, tap your knees down to your mat, tabletop. Modified side plank, left shin kickstands off your mat. Left hand plants to the upper middle section of your mat. Begin to straighten through your right leg. Right arm is gonna come up towards the ceiling. Pressing down through the 4 corners of your right feet. We'll take 1 big circle with our arms. So inhale, your right arm comes up overhead in line with your ear. Exhale, right arm comes across your chest. Then inhale, back up overhead. From here, press down into your right foot. Knit your lower ribs towards one another and come up, arms to a T. Inhale. Working now with rotation of our spine. Our arms are gonna stay as a T. Begin to bend into your right knee. Find your knee down, Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Arms stay to a T. We inhale to sit up a little taller in our torso. Exhale to twist your chest so you're facing over your right leg. Arms are to a T. Inhale to twist back towards the long edge of your mat. 2 more times. Exhale, twist towards the back of your mat. Inhale, come back through center. Keep your shoulders soft. Last time, exhale, twist from your navel center. Inhale, come through center. We come out nice and slow. Left hand plants, right leg extends, right arm overhead, modified side plank. Inhale. Exhale, right hand plants. Right knee draws back into your tabletop. Left shin comes back onto your mat. Other side, now your right shin kickstands, right hand plants. Lengthen through your left leg. Left arm comes up towards the ceiling. Find your modified side plank. Pausing here, building strength, squeezing your lower ribs towards one another. Shoulders are stacked. Inhale, left arm comes in line with left ear. Exhale, left arm sweeps in front of your chest and lifts back up towards the ceiling. Press down through the 4 corners of your left foot. Use your strong core, lift your right hand off your mat. Arms stay to a T. Left toes are gonna point towards the back of your mat as you bend into your left leg, knee down, Warrior 2. Again, you keep your arms as a T, lengthening fingertip to fingertip. We inhale to find length in our torso, crown of the head to the ceiling. Exhale to twist until your shoulders are facing towards the short end back of your mat. Inhale to twist towards the long edge of your mat. Exhale, twist from your navel center. Inhale, undo the twist 1 more time. Exhale, we twist. Inhale, release. Coming out nice and slow, right hand plants, left leg extends, left arm overhead, modified side plank. Exhale, left hand plants down, rebend your left knee, right shin comes back down to your mat. Curl your toes, inhale, fill. Exhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Walk your feet in about 2 inches or however much you need so your heels can rest down to your mat. From here, we'll inhale. Exhale, right hand grabs your left shin. Really deep hamstring stretch here. Deep quad stretch. You can look underneath your left shoulder, add a little deeper twist. Switch sides, right hand plants, left hand grabs for right shin. Again, you can kind of weave your chest underneath your right armpit, pressing your hips up towards the sky. Left hand comes back down to your mat. Walk your feet back until you're in your neutral downward facing dog alignment. Especially since we're focusing on the spine, I want us all to bend our legs a little bit deeper so we can melt our chest towards our thighs and therefore feel our spine get even longer, vertebrae by vertebrae. Inhale, gaze comes forward. Exhale, take 10 tiny, tiny steps towards the top of your mat. Again, same feeling. Imagine that there's duct tape underneath your heels now. You are trying to lift it up off your mat. Slow steps, stretching out your legs. Eventually finding ragdoll, feet hip width distance or wider apart. Generous bend in your legs, grab for opposite forearms. Allow yourself to sway side to side. Perhaps adding a nod of your head, yes, shake of your head, no. Encouraging some release of your neck. Switch out your grip. Exhale your hands down to your mat. Toe heel your feet together to touch. Slight bend in your legs, navel to spine, core engaged. Inhale, we slowly roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. Imagine that you are rolling up your spine against a wall. So you're taking your time. At the top, we'll inhale. Exhale, draw your chin in towards your chest, finding this nice stretch through our cervical spine. Inhale, chin draws away from your chest. This time, exhale, chin to chest, and your shoulders will roll forward, bringing this stretch into our thoracic spine. Inhale, roll back up. Rolling all the way down this time. Inhale. Exhale, chin to chest, shoulders roll forward. And we continue vertebrae by vertebrae until our fingertips reach the mat. Finding Uttanasana, forward fold. From here, at the bottom of your next exhale, we'll inhale to lift back up again, going just as slowly as you did on the first time. Your head again is the very last thing to rise. Finding Samasthiti Tahi, hands to heart center. Option to close down your eyes. Broaden through your collarbones, feel your shoulders stretch. Taking a minute now that we've moved a little bit to come back to that idea of Sushumna nadi. This idea that we can find that strength, that internal energy, especially when our masculine and feminine sides are in balance. So that's what we're working on here. We're trying to balance the heat of the asanas with the mindfulness of the meditation and the shavasana and the breath work. And find this neutral, this perfect mix of the heat and the fire and the softness. Inhale, draw your chin away from your chest, hands by your sides, palms face forward. We'll take just one Surya Namaskara A. Inhale, arms come up overhead, high mountain. Exhale, hands to heart center. Uttanasana, forward fold. Hinge from your hips, lead with your heart. Fingertips come down to your mat. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Hands glide up to your shins. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards one another. Crown of your head pulls forward, hips pull back. Exhale, plant your hands, step back into your high plank. We'll take a Chaturanga Dandasana together. Roll to the ball mounds of your toes, shifting your head forward. Exhale, lower to 90 degrees in your arms, elbows are by your side body. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog, tops of your feet down, hearts lifted. Exhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana, roll over your toes. From our downward dog, let's take a big breath. Inhale in through your nose. Exhale out your mouth, release. Switching up our flow. We'll inhale, three-legged dog, right leg high. Pause here. Dial your right pinky toe down to the ground, closing off your hips. Press your right heel up a little higher in space. Inhale. Exhale, knee to nose, round forward, shoulders stack over wrists. Press your mat away, reach your right knee in closer towards your chest. Inhale. Exhale, low lunge, right foot steps in between your hands. From here, zip up through your inner thighs. Use your strong core. We'll float our right arm in line with our right ear. Gaze out a few inches in front of you. Protect your neck. Left arm comes in line with left ear. Power lunge. Like you're reaching forward for something that you really wanted. On your next inhale, we rise up to our high lunge and hold. First time here, we really want to make sure that we are settling in. Right hip draws back, left hip draws forward. Sink even lower in your right leg. Press energy prana out from your left heel. Inhale. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 2, left heel pivots down to your mat. Arms come to a T. Having a nice heel to arch alignment. Right heel's in line with your left arch. Fingertip to fingertip. We feel this energy across our chest. Shoulders stacked over your hips. Inhale. Exhale, hands come behind your head, basket grip. Elbows are slightly in your peripheral view. Arms are gonna stay as is as we flow. So inhale, find your reverse warrior. Again, you stay in your basket grip. Left elbow comes down towards the mat. Right elbow starts to arc up towards the ceiling. See if you can prevent your left hip bumping up, hips stay in line. Inhale. Exhale, arms stay as is. Find your extended side angle. Right elbow points down towards right thigh, left arms up towards the ceiling. We flow this breath to movement. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. One more time, inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. From extended side angle, we'll inhale to straighten our right leg. Find your reverse trikonasana, reverse triangle. Left hand to thigh, right arm high fives the back wall. Pivot your right toes to face the long edge of your mat, arms to a T. From here, hands to your hips. I'll come around so I can face the camera. We're gonna find that snake energy. So start to find a deep bend in your right leg, lateral bend. Crown of your head's pulling forward, hips are pulling back. Head swivels towards the left. We stay low in our lower body as we simply shift the weight to our left leg, right leg extends long. Then inhale up to standing, squeeze your core. Starting from the back of our mat this time, left leg bends, chest pulls forward, hips pull back. Gaze comes over towards your right leg. Swivel your weight to your right leg as your left leg extends. Come back to standing. Inhale, star pose, toes out, heels in, arms overhead. Exhale, warrior 2, sink low into your right leg. Inhale, reverse your warrior, flip your right palm up towards the ceiling, lean up and back. Inhale. Exhale, windmill your hands down, frame your right foot, come off your left heel, step back to your high plank. Optional chaturanga, downward facing dog is where we'll meet. Taking the same thing to the other side. So from our downward facing dog, we inhale, three-legged dog, left leg high. Pause here, dial your left pinky toe down to your mat, close off your hips, lift your left heel up a little higher. Inhale, exhale, knee to your chest, stay lifted, shoulders stack over wrists. Lift your hips up one more inch, inhale. Exhale, step your left foot in between your toes, low lunge. We build our strength from the ground up. Left hip pulls back, right hip pulls forward. Scissor your inner thighs. Again, stay lifted off your right heel. Using your strong core, left arm comes in line with left ear. Right arm comes in line with right ear. Power lunge. Hold here. Your belly is pulling away from your thigh. Strong core. Your gaze is lifted. Your fingertips are reaching forward while your right heel is reaching back. On your next inhale, rise up to your high lunge, shoulders over hips. Pause here, same thing, scissoring your inner thighs, sinking low in your left leg. Lengthening through your torso, reaching up with your fingertips, inhale. Exhale, warrior 2, right heel pivots down to your mat, arms to a T. We pause here for our setup. Left heel is now in line with right arch. Feeling as if you could rip the mat apart, dragging your heel and arch away from one another. Stay low in your legs, find a basket grip behind your head. From here, on our next inhale, reverse your warrior, keeping the basket grip. Left elbow comes up towards the ceiling, right elbow points down to the mat. Really trying to twist your chest up towards the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, extended side angle, arms stay as is. Left elbow points down towards left thigh. Right arms up towards the ceiling, really pivoting your chest upwards. We flow. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. One more time. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse Trikonasana. Straighten your left leg. Right hand to the back of your right thigh. Left arm up towards the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, pivot your left toes to face towards me, arms to a T. Inhale, hard up. Exhale, Prasarita, wide-legged forward fold, chest leans forward, hips come back, lower down with a flat back. Your fingertips come down to the earth. We'll walk our feet in a little bit closer towards one another. Keep your head pulling down as we bring our left fingertips to our right shin and our right fingertips to our left shin. From here, you can stay as you are, or you can bend into your legs, shifting your hips back and your head forward, finding a really nice deep shoulder stretch here. About one more breath, and then we'll switch which arm is on top. If you're in that bend, re-straighten your legs, fingertips back down to the earth, switching out which is on top. So now your left hand grabs for your right shin, or opposite rather. Right hand grabs for left shin first, left hand grabs for right shin on top. Maybe this time you choose to just stay as is, head is heavy. Maybe you bend into your legs, reaching the crown of your head forward and your hips back. Inhale. If your legs were bent, exhale to re-straighten. Hands come back down to your mat. Hands come to your hips. Inhale, rise up with your flat back. Exhale at the top, toes out, heels in. Inhale, star pose. Find your length, find your strength. Exhale, warrior two, top of your mat. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Left hand flips up towards the ceiling and back. Exhale, windmill your hands down, frame your left foot, right heel lifts up, step back to your high plank, option to take a chaturanga, last opportunity for one, or maybe you just shift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. From our downward facing dogs, we'll inhale, gaze forward, exhale to tap your knees down to your mat. One last little spinal articulation before we really cool it down. So legs come out in front of us. We'll come down onto our backs. What's really important here is that we keep our neck safe. So we want to keep our gaze lifted up towards the ceiling. Try to not crane your head and look towards the screen and just listen into my voice. Hands come down by your sides, legs up the wall pose, legs come up towards the ceiling. Begin to kick your big toes towards the ceiling, coming into a version of Halasana plow pose. So we lifted our lower back off our mat. Our feet are pointed, legs are straight. Use your strong core to slowly lower yourself vertebrae by vertebrae until you're back in legs up the wall pose, legs up towards the ceiling. Once you reach legs up the wall pose, we'll slowly lower our legs down until our heels come down to our mat, using our low core. Once our heels come down to our mat, arms come up overhead. Inhale. Exhale, chin draws in towards your chest. Roll your spine up vertebrae by vertebrae, coming into a seated forward fold. Just passing through, we'll take this one more time and then hold our forward fold. So inhale to sit back up, shoulders over hips, arms out in front of you. Chin in towards your chest, roll yourself down vertebrae by vertebrae. Arms come down by your sides. As slowly as you came down, we'll inhale our legs up to legs up the wall pose. From legs up the wall pose, kick your feet towards the ceiling. Find this Halasana variation. not full plow. And so to roll yourself back down, vertebrae by vertebrae. From legs up the wall pose, we'll slowly lower our legs back down to the ground, taking your time. Once heels touch the ground, arms come up overhead. Inhale to find length. Exhale, chin in towards your chest. Slowly roll up, vertebrae by vertebrae. From seated, we inhale. Exhale, hinge forward. Seated, forward fold. Holding for a few breaths, find a flex of your feet. You could bend into your legs if that makes this more accessible. You also can have your hands up by your thighs or your shins. You want to focus more on spinal length and reaching your toes. Chin slightly tucked inward. Inhale for length, exhale to deepen. One more breath. Inhale, lift your gaze, roll yourself up. We'll come all the way down into our backs. Taking a little bit of breath work from Supta Baddha Konasana to get into our hips. So if this is too much for you, soles of your feet touching, knees out wide, you could opt for knock knee pose instead. Also many options with our arms. If you'd like a little more of a shoulder stretch, you could take a goalpost, or you could grab for opposite elbow overhead. If you want more groundedness, have one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. We're going to take a nice relaxing breath that brings us into our parasympathetic nervous system, or rest and digest. It's going to be a 4 count inhale in through the nose and a 6 count exhale out of the mouth. When you're ready, exhale everything out of your mouth. Inhale in through your nose for 1, 2, 3, and 4. Exhale out of your mouth for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. 2 more times. Inhale in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Exhale out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Feel free to continue this breath pattern on your own. Or maybe just come back to your natural inhale and exhale. Draw your knees in towards one another like you were closing the pages of your favorite book. Curling up into a tight ball, give yourself a huge squeeze of love and gratitude for showing up to your mat, for sending your spine some much needed love. Finding that Sushumna, that balance between the heat and the fire and the softness. Inhale. Exhale, get big for your final Shavasana. This is where I will leave you. I encourage you to stay for at least 5 minutes. When you feel like you don't have time for Shavasana, that's when you need it the most. I hope you enjoyed. Again, I'm Kate.